Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show increases the live audience, of course, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Was a Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, Ranty Flat Earth, Mark Doxy, Joshua, Dawn Treader, Arwin, and Alan. How the hell are you all doing?
Good, mate. Hey, is this debate number 290 you've just started?
289.
Oh, okay. Well, you spelt trust wrong. You put in,
So I have. In Are We Tris.
I like how you welcome all the guests, Nathan, all nicely, and you do a really long link, and then you start shouting at them.
Only as soon as you start to make
A nice
false claims.
yin yang sort of thing.
Say that again. I wasn't paying attention. I was changing my spelling error.
No worries. Just
So can we ask you some flat Earth questions, Nathan, without Arwen answering for you?
I don't know. Ask Arwin.
Well, you normally just let him answer for you.
I don't mind. It's, one of those.
Yeah, I'm always that kid in class that
Okay,
if the
well,
teacher asks a question, then I immediately answer.
I'll start. It's Nathan's show, and it's Flat Earth Debate, so we've got to ask some Flat Earth questions.
Okay,
So
fair
where
enough.
does
That's
the
a fair
sun
enough
go at night,
question to
Nathan?
ask. No, you can't.
Where does the sun go at night?
You didn't answer. You didn't listen to the first
I
answer.
live on a flat Earth. The horizon's flat. Where does the sun go at night?
I have no idea. I don't know what the sun is.
Right, that's cool. Why don't we see the backside of the moon? Let's say it's not a sphere. It's just a smarty shape or a half sphere hologram. Why don't we see the backside of it on the flat Earth that I live on?
No idea. I don't know what the moon is.
Nice. Okay. Why do we see things obstructed from the bottom blatantly over the ocean?
Right, because there is something called the circle of confusion, an area which you cannot see beyond, and that circle of confusion itself is often obstructed by things like waves because of perspective. A small 2-foot wave far in the distance will potentially rise beyond the midpoint where you have convergence. How you see things with perspective.
Can I ask what-
Something
Can I
your
adjust the
calculator omits. It ignores perspective, the way we see the world.
adjust the
When I
Don't
point
can
this
you
out
let him
or give an
finish
answer to a
out?
direct
Right,
question,
right.
I get 3
Long
people
answer.
talking at the same time as me. People don't
Right,
like
no.
my answers sometimes and they talk over them. Annoying.
Well, I accept your answer from the first few sentences. I just wanted to adjust the question. So say I'm 20 feet above the water, and I still see something be blatantly obstructed from the bottom over the ocean. So you gotta have huge waves obstruct this, and there's no waves because it looks like a car motion. Nice,
Right.
clean.
You still have a
horizon line.
convergence point with a circle of confusion that will obscure things behind it.
So not perspective.
That is
circle of
perspective
confusion.
that forces that to happen, yes. Perspective.
Perspective obstructs things from the bottom
Yes.
until they're totally gone.
Yes.
Yes.
Angular size reduction at distance occurs, and if you had something to say, for the sake of argument, that was obscured at 20 miles because it was 60 feet in elevation, and that happened to be the size that disappeared completely because it was too small to see at that distance, no zoom will bring it back.
Right.
It is below the circle of confusion. However, if you are to stick another 60-foot block on top of that first block, you will see the second block. It wouldn't suddenly bring back the bottom block because it's too small. It's beyond the angular size that you can see. Therefore, it would appear that you are missing one 60-foot block. You can only see the top block. Well, no, it is just too small. Its angular size has gone beyond the point of convergence. So therefore, it appears to be obstructed if you have, for the sake of argument, a 120-foot turbine with 60-foot obscured. That would simply be an effect of perspective. If I was allowed to finish a breath without being interrupted by some idiot who denies perspective and assumes with a religious belief, thinks he's clever, asks questions, but doesn't like listening, just talks continually.
Okay, sorry, Nathan. I'll give you room for a long answer.
It's a rumpus answer.
Sometimes an answer takes more than a breath, Dawn. Some people with limited intelligence and capacity to listen can't last that long.
Well, it's inspiring hearing your answers, so I have follow-up questions. The follow-up question for obstruction is, before I ask the follow-up question, can you explain what a circle of confusion is?
Yeah, there's a line that would cause things to be obstructed. I haven't got a diagram to show this.
Do you mean the horizon?
Yeah, if you like.
Okay, so the circle of confusion is the horizon. You've just made up another name for it, or?
Depends. Sometimes you can't see it. Sometimes the circle of confusion is obscured by things like waves in the foreground, again, as an effect of perspective.
Okay. So the apparent horizon is the circle of confusion.
No, because the apparent horizon would be the hard black line that you would think was where the land meets the sky.
Well, no, I think the apparent horizon is what appears to be the horizon. You know, the building, the skyline, the tops of trees.
Right. Sometimes that line that you think is sometimes that line that you think is that line has an inferior mirage below it, which is often ignored by globeheads, which means that it literally sits in that band, the circle of confusion.
Most globeheads accept mirages, obviously.
Well,
I haven't met one that
sits in the circle of confusion.
So, okay, I've got my follow-up question about obstruction. Do you understand that perspective means things get smaller and obstruction means they disappear from the bottom because something's in the way? Do you understand they're different things?
No, it doesn't necessarily. I've just explained that if you have a 60-foot box that is too small to see because of an angular size reduction at distance, i.e. perspective, when it gets to that distance... Yeah, here we go. It's another time. I've got halfway through the breath.
Oh, I'm saying right. Sorry, carry on.
Don't. Just listen. Because it cuts the gate. So the audience doesn't get to hear it while you go right over the top of me. Yeah, you have to have a little bit of patience to be able to listen to an explanation that's not one sentence, Dawn.
Okay.
Right.
I'm just eager to ask the next question.
So,
you know what I mean?
you have a point in the distance where something, say a 60-foot box, will vanish from view because of its angular size. It is too small to see. Things do vanish. You have a vanishing point. Yep. Now, if something is smaller than that limitation, say for the sake of this discussion, 60 feet at 20 miles, then at that distance, a 60-foot block will be invisible. You won't see it. It will be gone. However, if you stack another 60-foot block on top of it, you would see it. So, in essence, if you then had, say, a 120-foot turbine, potentially 60 foot could be visible, 60 foot could be obscured. But there's nothing physically obscuring it, it's just an effect of perspective.
Yeah, I think you're wrong.
No.
So could I just throw in another question on top of that? Nathan, it's nighttime in Australia right now, and why do I see a completely different set of stars than you do, and no sun?
Same answer that I gave to the sun and the moon. Did you hear the answer I gave for the sun and moon questions?
He doesn't know what they are, Josh.
I don't know what the stars are. I know that they twinkle in the sky and they rotate.
Can I ask a question?
Or the sun. You don't know what the sun or the stars are, so you're never going to answer any question about it.
Neither do you.
Answers about it.
Let's see if we've got any intellectual honesty from Josh. Do you claim to know what the sun, moon, and stars are?
Nathan, I believe in scientists
not what you
and
believe.
men that
do
have
you
worked
claim to
their
know?
lives to
do you
figure
claim
this
to
stuff
know?
out.
Not. I don't want to know about your
stuff.
beliefs. Not interested in your beliefs. Do you know what they are? Yes or no?
Yes.
What are they?
They are big astronomical bodies in space. What? Ask a specific question, Nathan.
How far is the sun?
150 million kilometers.
How'd you get that value?
Because I looked it up.
You just looked it up on Wikipedia. You're a moron.
No, that's the right answer, man.
How did you get... Oh, back to Dawn. Dawn, who also doesn't understand that you need a bit of R for this distance to be correct. You would need to presuppose you're on a sphere to get this very acute angle, causing the distance to be astronomically high. So you would need to presuppose an R value for this nonsense, like all of your nonsense. That's why it's so critically important to scientifically validate the R value.
Do you mind if I ask a question? Please?
Go ahead.
Is it okay? How does your perspective explain the clouds being underlit when the sun is low on the horizon?
Perspective. So that if the sun's far away,
how does it...
the rays from something far away can potentially light the bottom of something, purely by virtue of perspective. It will meet the horizon as it reaches the distance. Same as if you see a plane going into the distance, it will eventually meet the horizon. It doesn't mean it's crashing into the horizon now, though, does it? Same applies to the sun. So the effect of what the sun's rays do as it... there's no point giving you an answer. None. Zero.
Why?
Because you just talk constantly. You're the same as Dawn. You've got the attention span of a gnat.
You said perspective, and I thought that was enough of an answer. Carry on. I apologise.
That's all right.
So if it has to go far away for the rays to light the underneath of the cloud, how far away does it have to go? And how big does it have to be to go that far away?
It's back to my first original question. You're asking me stuff about the physics of the sun I don't understand or know what it is. So I don't know.
Why doesn't someone on planet work it out?
I can have an answer for that. But
it'd be nice to be backed by science. Unfortunately, we have science asserting we're on a sphere and that the sun is 93 million miles away, based on a presuppositional value of R. Right. It's sinking in, is it? Excellent.
So why doesn't someone on Flat Earth make up their own Flat Earth science to measure these and give us an idea of how big the sun could be, how far it would have to go in order to do what it does when it's low on the horizon? Why can't someone just work that out?
First off, you take away all those assumptions that it is an object that has to have a distance and a size, because it doesn't.
Okay, but you can measure it. Sorry, you can measure it as it tracks across the sky during the whole day.
Yeah, you can measure its angular position. Yeah.
You're talking over me, buddy. So you can measure its size as it tracks across the sky the whole day. You can use that size to extrapolate things and work things out and get measurements. Why can't someone in a flat Earth develop their own science or maths, if you have to give us some idea on how big the place has to be, how big the sun has to be, and how far it has to go?
They have.
And what's the answer? What are the numbers?
Well, anyone here want to answer that? It's based upon a different assumption model.
You have all the answers.
I'll give you answers.
Please?
Nathan doesn't know.
Yeah, we do know. We have actually presented
Don't say we.
an alternative assumption-based model of the flat Earth, still assuming that all these heavenly bodies are physical, based on another different base assumption.
Sorry.
A flat model. And then the moon and the sun are a lot closer in relation to the R globe Earth base assumption.
Forget globe. Oh, and don't worry about globe. Don't worry about R.
You can apply the same
fantasy.
You can apply the same triangulation system on a flat assumed based model if you want to necessarily assume that the heavenly bodies are physical.
Right. So, and it doesn't matter if they're physical.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Nah.
Why?
It doesn't.
Because only if they are physical can you then extrapolate that some kind of shape of the Earth or their actual position. But as long as you have no proof that they are physical, then it's all just a bunch of assumptions and conclusions based upon these assumptions that you don't know.
Rainbows, basically.
Flat Earth is based on a bunch of assumptions. What?
It's the flat Earth-based astronomical model of how the sun and the moon are supposed to be traveling over us is still an assumption-based model, just like the heliocentric globe assumption-based model.
Okay. So it's fine to make assumptions.
You
No, it's not.
You
If
guys
you
have
actually
already-
want to get
what?
to the truth, it's still based on assumptions. It's just a different base setting for it.
Yeah,
Arwen,
sure.
you've
Yeah,
agreed
we're
with
not
me
gonna get
before that
anywhere
you can
with you
use the
dickheads in
stars
here.
to find where
Because
you
don't bring
are on the
anything to
planet.
you don't bring anything to the debate. What are you actually bringing? We're here asking questions for your
That's the
proof
guy
of
that
power,
hasn't
your
said
proof
anything
of
for the whole
gravity.
debate.
Where is it? Display it. Show it right now.
We're asking you about
Yeah,
your
this is
model.
the point. The system we live... Absolutely well said, Ranty. The system we currently live under tells us that we're on a sphere. And in order to go forward, to answer whoever said, well, why haven't you got your scientific system? Well, because science backs the sphere. So we've got to demolish it and
2,000
stamp on its
years,
head.
blah, blah, blah.
What do you mean, blah, 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 Josh? The current science says we're on a sphere. So we have to disprove that first. We don't have to prove anything to do that, to get science to back reality while you blow your nose as I talk.
But you see why flat Earth becomes incredulous, because you're not attempting to do anything other than just try to bring down something else. You're not putting anything forward.
Yeah, we are.
You're
We're
not
putting the
putting-
same
you're not
exact
putting-
stuff as
you're
you
not
are.
putting- you're
We
not putting
are.
anything
We're putting the
forward. Hang on.
same exact stuff you are, but you insert a presuppositional value of R. I said this earlier. So we do the same exact measurements you do, right? We see
You're
stuff
just
and go, it's there with the same measurements. And you go, no, it's not really there. It's blocked by Earth curve and being miraged because we've got this R value. So we say, well, no, obviously we see this stuff. It's just there. No presupposition, just a simple straight measurement, simple trig. We see it, we measure it, we can tell you its height, we can model it. Simple. You guys say, no, it's not there. Not really. I know you can see it, but it isn't really there. It's actually blocked by Earth curve. Here's the maths and the presupposition that goes with it.
But you have to move on, Nathan. You have to
What, move on from your fantasy? I have moved on from your presuppositional religional value of R. You haven't. That's why we're in this debate. You think it's real. I know it isn't. I don't have
So
any
for us-
presuppositions, so when you say prove it with science, we're doing the same thing. You insert a presupposition, though. That's what we're trying to smash.
So what? So
what you're
Nathan,
saying-
what's your hypothesis?
Hypothesis
So
for
no,
what?
he's
I
saying-
don't
what he's saying is
need
we
a
have to move
hypothesis
on.
to make an observation. I can just see it, like the lighthouse. I just look at it. It's there. You tell
Hang on,
me
you just-
with
you
hold on,
just-
Josh. You tell me that the lighthouse isn't really there. It's not capable of being seen. There's a wall in the way, and it's being loomed up from behind that wall. So your world of fantasy and presupposition tells me quite literally to ignore the evidence of my own eyes. I don't need any science to back up what I can see. It's obviously and observably flat.
No.
Nathan, what's your observed phenomenon?
Occam's
No,
razor.
I don't need
you-
to observe anything that's phenomenon. I don't need to see anything happening. I just see a lighthouse. It's not happening.
Nathan.
It's not being loomed up and periodically disappearing. That would be a phenomena. I just see it. It's just there. I don't need to experiment on it. I just look at it. There it is. You guys assert that it's not really there. There's a wall in the way. Why? Well, because we've got a presuppositional value of R, of course.
Okay, so what's your hypothesis?
No,
I
where's your
don't
proof?
need... How many... You're just deaf. I can just look at it. Don't need to hypothesize anything when I just see something that's there. I just go, there it is. I can see it. And then we measure how far away it is. And go, yeah, we see it. Well, why? Well, because it's there. Well, it necessitates the world being flat, but that's obvious. It looks flat and is flat. And we build on
So,
flat
Nathan,
surfaces.
what's
but
the
you
independent
guys,
variable?
for the second time, as you interrupt me, you don't seem to have this point
What's the
sinking
independent
in.
variable?
You guys presuppose that there's an R value, which necessitates that obvious observable lighthouse
What
not being
is
there.
the independent variable?
Don't
you-
need one. I keep saying it. You're just thick, Josh. There's no other conclusion I can draw. I don't need to formulate a scientific hypothesis just to look at something. I can just look at it. I look at my table and go, table. I don't need to formulate a hypothesis to have a little look at it. And when I look at a lighthouse, I just have a look. That's the end of my observation. You guys look at it and say, I've got a presuppositional value of R, which says this lighthouse isn't really there. Therefore, you have to come up with all sorts of explanations for what it's doing, like looming.
Me.
Hey,
If it's
Spurs.
this simple, Nathan, for you, why don't you just go on with your life now?
I am. I'm a YouTuber and I make really good content, which people are loving at the
Shout
moment.
at
Really
people
pleased with my
about the
progress.
model they believe.
Thank you to everyone who subscribed, by the way, while Dawn natters over the top of me. It's shut him up. So thank you very much to everyone who subscribed. I really appreciate the support that I'm getting. You know, trolls that they get labelled trolls, you're just my supporters watching the show, and I'm really grateful for all of that. You know, primarily I'm a YouTuber. Unfortunately, there are people outside my network of friends that have this religious belief in an R value and get very triggered whenever I mention it. They decide they can't listen anymore. They have to talk, tell me that I'm wrong, and I need to prove the obvious and observable nature of what we see every time we open our eyes, which is that things get smaller into the distance and the Earth is obviously and observably flat.
Water doesn't curve.
Yep.
Show
The
me
sun
curvy
doesn't
water.
get small.
You
It
globers,
doesn't get lit under the lid.
you globers are like a bunch of religious lottery players. You think you can win the globe eventually.
As a
So you keep
Christian.
coming back every day. You get grilled. You
globe's
obviously
won.
lose. But yeah, you believe that one day, if you just come back long enough, if you can just find that one angle, then
Okay.
you can win
So,
your
Owen,
globe. It's not going to happen.
Hold
But
on,
it's
Owen.
all right.
There is no globe.
That was. I mean, we're gonna have this
Oh,
conversation.
Spurs, how are you, mate?
Let's have this conversation while Nathan is here, but pretend he's not here. What is he doing wrong?
You're telling Nathan to shut up there,
Not
Keenan.
at all, not at all. I'm just saying I want to.
Very subtle, I
what's
like
the
it.
difference?
You're
I'm
gonna do this
impressed.
anyway. You're
I'm
going to say, "Oh,
impressed,
Nathan
Spurs.
got it wrong. He doesn't understand." Blah blah blah. So let's do it now. I want to find out: is he speaking English? Is he being clear? Is he making sense? Where is he going wrong? Because I understand very well what he's saying, but and Dawn, it seems to
I
be
understand
like
what he's
you're
saying.
you're completely lost.
You're lost,
understand
Kimo.
what
You're
he's-
going mad every day.
Right. So
Kimo,
what?
I
Gambling
what
addiction,
is
I
that's
just
what
don't
it
agree
is.
with you.
Hold on, be specific. What is he doing wrong? What has he said that you don't understand? What is it that you disagree with? And what do you think he should be doing to provide proof that we're not on a spinning ball?
Well, that's a lot of questions.
Whew, how long have you got?
First one again.
Well,
Well,
just
let's
start where you like, because again, I'm
What's
lost.
the elephant here, mate?
What's he doing wrong? What's he doing wrong?
Yeah, what is he doing wrong? What is
He's
he? What
chosen a new
don't you
belief
understand?
system, but he's
Okay,
throwing it
he's-
in other people's face every day of the week.
No, we're questioning your
Really
belief system.
vitriolically.
We are questioning your belief system because it is taught for us from school. It is shown on
Yeah,
TV.
but the only people that care are people that enjoy arguing.
You care because you're here.
Yeah, not that
So we're
much.
asking for your
69
proof.
people that care
Where's
right
your
now.
proof?
They're watching.
Where's your proof that you are
171.
hiding? You are hiding the proof clearly because you haven't got any.
No, there's proof all over the internet.
Is
Because
it?
Dawn,
Show-
you were
show
saying,
us.
Dawn,
Well,
you were
I've
saying,
given you
Dawn, you were
multiple
saying,
times,
Dawn, you were
you
saying
don't
earlier
like
on,
any of
stop talking about R. And I'm like, well, why? Why did you want him to move on from R when that will show you that it's been?
Because it's boring.
presupposed?
What's
Yeah, but
wrong with
truth,
assuming R?
what is
What's wrong
truth
with
supposed to be
it?
exciting, Alan? Are you in this for fun or for truth?
What's the problem with making assumptions? What's
Yeah, but
the
you've
problem?
been lied to. If I assume,
think
like,
he
if I
thinks
assume
it's
Santa
boring
Where's
Claus
because
is
the
it's
real-
coming
proof I've
back
been
every
lied to?
day.
what?
Where's your Spurs? Where's your proof that I've been lied to? You talk about perspective, but that doesn't. It's got to work on everything, right? Not just what you see. It's got to work on everything you see.
No, the lie is that you live on a spinning globe with the radius.
Where's the lie?
Well, you're
where's
not.
it come from?
Where's the curvature?
That is the lie.
The curvature. The lie is there's no curvature to be found. We've been looking, so that's the lie. Lie number one. Yes, no curvature.
What? To you? Yeah.
No,
What have
there
you
is no
found? Well,
curvature.
hold on. Have you found curvature?
Me personally, no.
So then, if you haven't found curvature, who has?
Ranty.
What do you mean? We've got plenty of photographs of it.
Yeah, Rancy's
There's
found it.
photographs of curvature. When we've been told that you cannot see curvature, you have to be so high.
Some would argue Ranty's found curvature with his
All
photograph.
right, that's fine. Some would say that, but do you see a problem with any of what anyone's saying in this situation?
I don't think that's curvature. I think he
Look, I
found
don't.
They
I
know it's
don't.
not curvature. They know it's
Personally,
not
I
curvature.
don't have a problem with what you guys say and believe. I mean, that's your belief.
Mhm.
So you can say that, but
Yeah, but
I don't
Woz,
think
we're
it's
trying to
right.
focus on. Yeah, but was the most important thing is your belief, what you believe. That I haven't
Are you
been lied to. You said there's no lie. Well, where's the lie? And then I asked you, where's the curvature?
No,
And you
Spurs.
said, well, I haven't found it.
Wait,
not
where's the
satisfying
curvature?
me,
Where's the
mate.
curvature? Share my screen, Nath. Where's the curvature? Where's the
Spurs,
curvature,
you're not
guys?
satisfying me. I did not say that.
Where's the curve, guys?
In
Show
your
us where the curve
photos,
is.
mate, you take photos of it all the time.
Where? I'm looking at a photo right now. I'm asking you, where's the curvature?
Was if you've got family and they're listening to you,
1 foot high.
ducking around, dancing, and they can see that you are not being honest, in your approach. How will they look at you as an individual? Forget about everybody else. If I've asked you, where's curvature? Have you found curvature? And you say, well, no, I haven't found it. So the people that know you directly are going to say, well, why did you what's going on. Just show them where the curvature is.
No, they're not.
So what are they going to say? The people that love you, the people around you, are hearing you defending something that you cannot prove.
You want to ask me long-winded questions and expect me to give you a very short answer, so I just give you a very short answer.
Well, no, we've got time, I think. It's just started the show. We've got an hour or so, right? So we can get through it. I want to know where you think Nathan is going wrong, why he said you don't understand, why he should be doing differently. You've said there's no lie. I said there's the biggest lie we've ever been told. You said there hasn't. You said there's been curvature been found. And
I didn't say there's no lie. I asked you to tell me where the lie is and prove it's a lie.
I'm asking you where the curvature is here.
They've been
Where's
showing
the curvature here?
Go ahead, Ranty, sorry.
Where's the curvature here?
Look at ugly screen, Ranny.
Where's the curvature?
The sun's half gone.
Where's the curvature?
Answer it. Where's the curvature?
Behind the horizon, where the sun's disappeared to, and all those wind turbines.
The curvature is behind the horizon.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, drops away.
That
this
is
is
amazing.
shore to shore over 18 miles. Where's the curvature?
1 foot high. 1 foot high.
Shore to shore. Where's the curvature? Come on.
What a nice long silence.
Yeah, exactly. Because
no
you
one
can't
cares
answer it.
anymore.
No, but
Oh, you don't care. Oh, you don't have an answer, so you don't care. And you
Even
just
if we
go
had
silent.
answer you
Dawn,
like,
you seem to be dancing around. Dawn, you dance around from pillar to post, right? So you're saying, well, I don't care about that. You ask a question. You said there's curvature. You're showing it's not curvature. So either you're lying to me now and you're part of this lie.
What?
They're telling me, Dawn, they tell me there's curvature. Yes? Then I'm asking
Have you measured curvature?
Then I'm
Have you
asking
measured?
where I'm asking
Have
where
you
is
attempted
curvature?
to measure curvature yourself?
I've never
Spurs?
I'll show you lots of curvature. I'll show you many types.
Dawn, are you part of the lie? Are you telling me what they are telling me?
Yes.
So you're part of the lie then, yeah?
No, I'm telling you what they're telling you.
So they're telling me there's curvature.
There's a small chance it could be a lie, and we're all mistaken. I'll give you that.
Yeah, but again, they're telling me it's a lie, and they've produced an animation to show me curve. Yeah, they showed me a picture, right? Hold on.
Who's they?
The Dawn. You said you're
they?
supporting this lie. So then,
Hang on, who's they?
I didn't say I'm supporting a lie. I said I'm telling you what they are telling you. I think he means the rest of the globers that defend the globe.
yeah. So if we're being told there's curvature, and I ask you, well, where's this curvature, and you say, well, go to them.
Nathan has it on screen now. This is one example for you, Kimo.
Yeah, this is atmosphere. We've been through this.
No,
Dawn.
it's not atmosphere. They're
What would
behind the
happen?
horizon.
What would happen if you remove
Half
the
of them are gone from the bottom.
What would happen if you remove the atmosphere, Dawn?
What would happen?
Yeah.
I think there'd be more gone.
Well, how do you test that then?
Well, I don't. Why would I want to test that?
Because you don't want to be lied to, do you? Or you don't care?
I don't want to be lied to, but I'm pretty sure I'm not being lied to, and I want to do other things with my life.
you're just gonna accept it on
a
blind
mystery
faith.
hunt for someone else's theory of a lie.
Yeah, you're gonna accept it on blind faith. That's
No,
what
it's
you're
not
gonna do.
blind faith.
Yeah, it is.
It's not.
Because you don't know if it's a lie, but you're
sun goes
satisfied
behind the
anyway.
horizon
You're not
every
gonna
night,
test it. That's called accepting it on blind faith, Don.
It's daylight where me and you are.
No,
Two of the people on the
again,
planet
Dawn,
are in
Dawn,
darkness
Dawn.
right now.
Those that love you, people around you who personally know you, right? They're listening to your answer. They want to know what Dawn thinks. So if he can prove it, or if he's just talking rubbish. So when you're saying, when you're saying, I just listen to authority, they tell me what I should know. Well, how can anyone take your views seriously on anything if you can't provide proof or evidence or even make an argument?
You don't have to take me serious, and you don't already. You don't, do you?
Well, we're not going to if you're not gonna answer anything.
What do you want me to answer? Where's the curvature?
The lie, Dawn. The lie. We said there's a lie. You said it's not a lie. So if it's not a lie,
I gave you that there's a possibility of a lie.
So you're supporting this lie or what?
No, I'm saying it's a possible lie.
Are you going to help expose it?
You're not going to find out if it is a lie. You're just going to accept it on blind faith, whether it is a lie or not. You don't care.
I'm not going to help expose this lie, right?
It's possible, highly improbable.
You're going to help expose this lie also, yes?
What lie?
You haven't found curvature, have you?
What lie, man?
The Earth is curving
but
downwards.
Where's the lie? Who's telling us the lie?
The education system.
Right. And how many people are telling us this lie? I mean, really, you honestly believe it's a lie. You honestly, seriously, with your whole heart believe all those people. Sure, some will be compartmentalized. Sure, some won't be realizing they're telling a lie.
Most
All
of
that blah
them.
blah blah.
What was?
Most of them are
Hang on.
Hold on, Arvin. So was. Check it out then, was.
Hang on. You're seriously going to believe that
I
there's going
heard
to
you.
be
I got your
hundreds
question.
of thousands?
Yes, I got
I'm
you.
going to repeat myself if I have to, because you guys do. There's hundreds and thousands of people up at the top levels that know it's a lie and carry on telling the lie. You're going to seriously believe that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I do.
What's going to happen is that you're going to
That's your belief.
No, you're going to
You've got
find
no proof of it.
No, was again. You're looking for authority from other people. You're asking me to answer your question. Authority. I'm not your authority, right?
That's
You
what
would get,
questions are designed
if
to
you
do,
say
aren't they?
there's
Just
curvature, then you would go and find curvature. If you can't find curvature, then ask that question again. Am I being lied to?
Okay. If I take a theodolite out and measure the drop, will that satisfy you?
Measuring perspective.
No, because how do you know where the true horizon
Perspective.
How do you know where the true horizon is using a
Okay.
theodolite?
Okay, that's a good point. How do you measure the refraction zone? Your
It's a
dirty
good
air zone.
point. It's just destroyed your argument of a theodolite. It's a good point. It's just completely blown your theodolite nonsense out of the water.
So again, I have to ask, are you part of the lie? Are you supporting the lie? Are you encouraging that we lie to each other?
I'm not supporting any lies.
So what are you saying? You're saying that. So what are you saying? I'm trying to understand what you mean. Okay, you said
I'm not a flat earther.
You said that they're not lying and they're telling the truth, but we haven't found what they've told
I didn't
us.
say that, Spurs.
So what are you saying then? Be clear. Are you supporting the lie, the narrative, or are you going to help expose the lie?
Oh my God. I said, do you seriously believe that hundreds of thousands of people can be telling a lie knowingly and just keep it quiet?
I don't know. I don't know about other people. I know about you. I know about what you've been told and what you can do to find out if it's true or not.
Well, I just told you if I took a theodolite and measured the drop, would that support you? And then you said something
where would you point the theodolite? At which horizon?
Yeah, well, that's what I was trying to get at. So you assert that there's some sort of refraction zone, right?
Yeah, it's on screen now. Click my screen. You can see the sun. Sorry, Spurs. Click my sun.
Copy this pic. Sorry,
you can see the circle of confusion. I'll highlight it for the audience. That there's a band that runs through above the horizon, and you then have an inferior mirage below it. So what you see as the hard horizon, the line, isn't the horizon, unless you're proposing that you've got a figure of 8 sun. Here it is again. The line that I'm drawing through the sun is an inverted mirage of itself above itself. It's not going below the horizon. That's what they tell you. That's nonsense. The sun on. Oh, why am I being interrupted? So yes, there is a line that runs through this sun, and you are seeing a mirage of itself below itself, meeting the horizon. So this is not the horizon. The horizon is probably around here.
Oh, that is the horizon.
Well, you can tell yourself that, but it's not. It's just the apparent horizon. You have a circle of confusion. You asked me about it earlier. I tried to explain it. You talked over me a bit. Like most ignorant people, they don't listen when something complicated is being explained because it takes more than one sentence.
You just made up another name for it.
Circle of confusion. That's the same name I've given it for months. It's
Well,
an engineering term.
It's a silly name.
That circle of confusion, is that your dirty air zone? Is that what you guys have referred to as the dirty air zone before?
There's various different things that cause obstruction, which is what gets labelled dirty air. Some of it are perspective based, i.e. things like a 2-foot swell can rise beyond the midpoint where the convergence line is. That's a perspective effect caused by things physically obscuring things in the distance. However, beyond a certain point, there is an angular size reduction where you cannot see beyond. So back to my box example of 60-foot box at 20 miles, its angular size is reduced so much that it is below the circle of confusion. Arwin describes this as an optical slant. He calls it the first and second layer. Well, if you see it on a side elevation diagram, which Chris has given me a couple of times, I will dig it out probably for the next show. It shows you in side profile where the circle of confusion lies based on how your angle of attack versus your actual viewed position or viewed target is located. So you can see how these things map out, and they are understood terms that engineers do use. So these aren't like terms we have made up. Dirty air, yeah, that's because we don't have a coherent science behind us. All of the science says boats go over a curve, while simultaneously while
What's the circle of
simultaneously
confusion?
ignoring the very real nature of perspective and presenting your world in an orthographic view with single lines drawn between target and observer, where in reality we see an angular view of things getting smaller into the distance. But that's not ever accounted for in your model of the world. It ignores perspective.
Yeah. Okay.
So was again, I want to know what you're going to do about this lie. You said there's no lie, so I'm asking. It makes me think now you're part of this lie. You said there's no lie.
There's no lie.
So what are you saying precisely then?
Oh man, for the third time, I'm asking you if you honestly believe if there are hundreds and thousands of people willingly lying, and keeping it to themselves.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if
can I have
they've
a bash
checked
at that
the
then,
earth
Spurs?
was.
If
I
you
don't
don't
know
know,
what
I'll have a
test
bash
they've
at that,
done
Spurs.
right?
So, sorry, Spurs. Well, what Spurs is asking you is, are you lying, was? And your answer is no. But you believe this horse shit based on a presuppositional value of R, and you're still spouting it.
Oh shit, yeah.
So you're not complicit, right? You don't think you're lying. But plenty of people are in your shoes saying the same stuff. Teachers, reading from textbooks, for example.
Good point, Nathan. Right. So you're not lying, was? So you're asking about all the other people who are like yourself. So either you
you're saying, hang on, you're saying there's hundreds of thousands of people at the top levels that are lying.
Yeah, you are part of it. You are one of those people.
Am I at the top level, am I?
Yes, we are all at the top level, can find out the truth.
Well,
you are part of this lie, was, yes.
Hang on, we've got a different view on what I mean by top level.
No, if you became the president of Australia tonight, you would still think the same thing that you think right now.
Right.
If I became
therefore, you would be lying to me.
of,
You're an
If you were the president of Australia,
you're an indoctrinated sheep. That's what you are. And you come on this channel and you think you are telling the truth to try and enlighten us in some way. You don't realize that. You don't realize.
He's asking about other people, but he's asking about himself. He could be a pilot. Right. He could work for NASA. You could work for anyone, was, but you would still believe what you believe right now.
All right. I drive a forklift and I fix computers. All right. I don't work for NASA. I'm not on anyone's payroll except my boss's.
Yeah, but you could. You could work for NASA. You would still believe in a ball. But would you be lying to me? No, you'd be asking a question. You would say to me, "Is my company lying to me?" And I would say, "What?" But you're part of that company. You work for this company right now. You are working for the liars. Yes.
If I was an astronaut, I'd be a liar. Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily.
Is that what you're saying?
Well,
why do you work that like that?
I do think so. I think if you're an astronaut, you're absolutely complicit in this and would know that you were lying. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. If I'm an astronaut, that means by your standard, I'd have to be a liar.
Yeah, I would say so, yes.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about anything. They could be mind controlled. They could be indoctrinated. We don't know. Yes?
So how many more people are in a similar position of astronauts?
73,000 according to NASA's employment list.
Yeah, compartmentalised. These people aren't being sent up on a fake space shuttle. They're just working at a desk, looking at a terminal, which they're trained on how it operates and how it works and how it functions. Very easy to deceive those people who work for NASA and just hold the same belief as was. Therefore, wouldn't, if he was in that position. Oh my God.
Just like those people who work in the administrations for NASA or
any one donkey at a time.
You could be a pilot. You still believe in what you believe, right? Yes?
Sorry, you're both talking. I didn't hear.
You could be a pilot. You could be a teacher. You could work for NASA. You could work for a space agency, but you would still today, right here and now, believe what you believe. Yes?
What's that mean?
You could be the president of Australia tonight. You would still believe what you believe, that there is no lie.
Yeah, but what does that mean? What's that got to do with the price of fish?
So when you're asking about other people lying, they're the same in the same position as you.
Exactly.
We have all been lied to.
They're not the people I'm asking you about. I'm asking you about the people that are in the same position as astronauts and that are knowingly lying.
It's a very few and far between. You know,
you reckon,
to know who's lying to you is very difficult to figure out. But there are certain people that are certainly in this debating field that are complicit in this deception. You know, for example, your calculators that are published online omit perspective. This is a fact. So there's got to be people out there that understand these mathematics. People aren't stupid. Therefore, I would say if you understand that it omits perspective and you present it anyway, you're complicit in the lie. But that's not the same level as somebody who's faking space and pretending to go to outer space, a vacuum next to a pressurized system. They're complicit in the lie. They absolutely know they're lying. At some stage, they will have found out. There's a good chance that the astronauts are led to believe they're going to space until it actually reaches the point where they're going to, and then they get told the dark, awful truth that it's all nonsense. Now you've got to pretend to be on a spacecraft whilst hanging from these high wires.
So the people that lead these astronauts into the lie, they have to know, they have to be the liars.
Yeah, I think there's a very few people in the control room. Capcom probably knows. Capcom would probably be the only person in that control room that they filmed that would know the truth. All the rest are just donkeys working at terminals.
It's a secret society, and they basically test people that get into space stuff, that want to become an astronaut, and they just ask them questions and see how they work moral-wise, how much objection they would have to lying to others, and how important they would deem having a big salary.
Anyway,
what would they do for it? And then when these people give the right answers, when they prove to these people that interrogate them that they wouldn't really mind lying to the masses, especially if they thought that most people are retarded anyway, so they didn't really care, then these people will be led into the secret.
Right, and so you've got to ask yourself
stay silent about it.
Am I part of the lie? Am I helping the lie? Or can I find out and stop this lie? That's all you should be asking yourself. Is finding out if there's a lie, if you've been lied to, and how you can prevent it.
I think you guys should as well on your side do the same thing.
Yeah.
Just to make it fair and balanced, you know what I mean? Because one of them is a lie. If one of them's a lie, the other one might be a lie, innit?
Because what you're saying is really quite fantastic.
Yeah, Chemo's in detective mode. Detective mode now. It's actually
quite fantastic.
On an investigation.
Yeah, Chemo, you got to ask yourself, mate. It's quite fantastic to believe so many people can be keeping a lie and knowingly lie.
No, it's not. Not if you understand how things work, education, the system, what they would need to do to lie to you. Yeah, it's not very simple. It takes 500 years to convince you of a lie. I couldn't just tell you things today. I would have to get you when you were young. Start when you were very young and start implanting and imprinting and pushing a narrative into your mind. Because it's very difficult to get you to believe that you're moving, that there's curvature, that things like gravity, space. It's very difficult to tell a person this. So you have to tell them when they're very, very young and very impressionable.
And you also have
nobody else. The parents also need to believe the same thing.
Exactly.
Because the kids will have to fall back onto somebody that they trust for what to believe and what not to believe. So
I think you guys
plenty of generations, just 3 generations, if they all believe the same concept, then it'll be a lot easier to convince people and really get behind that specific belief. Whether they know it is true or not, they will believe it. And that is what you guys are.
You still haven't given me a number.
Number? What number?
Well, how many people have to be knowingly lying across all the space agencies across all the world and in all the governments that are controlling these space agencies? And the list goes on.
I'd say around 100,000 people would need to know.
That's just pie in the sky. We've got no way of knowing how many people are at the helm of this deception. We have no way of knowing if the deception is known to...
Is real?
Say again?
You have no way of knowing if the deception is real.
Yeah, we do.
No, you don't. You just said.
Do.
No, you don't. You just said you have no way of knowing. Hang on. You said you have no way of knowing how many people are at the helm of this deception. So you don't know if the deception is real.
No, that's not the same thing. We know that people would have to know
It's exactly
the deception to be able to steer it, to be able to guide it, to make it believable. It can. The deception can't just run itself. That doesn't mean that we cannot know that it is a deception, because deception is going on.
Right.
And with critical thought, we can determine this.
Are you saying
by
we
our
don't
own
know that it's...
observations, we can determine this.
You're
what assumption are we making?
assumptions.
What assumption?
Prove deeper deception.
No.
You're making
You have the
assumptions.
assumption. You don't have any proof for
No,
your
no, no,
spinning
no,
ball
no, Ranty.
nonsense.
No, Ranty. You're working assumptions upon
No,
assumptions.
No,
What
where's your
assumption?
right? Where's your proof of gravity?
It doesn't matter, mate.
Yes,
You're
it
making
does.
assumptions.
Where's your proof
You're
of
making
that?
assumptions that
Exactly.
Ranty's
got you, was. Ranty's got you.
you're
We're
making
not making any
assumptions
assumptions,
that
and you won't
we're giving
listen.
Is an assumption.
Just listen. What do you think we're assuming? Sorry.
You're assuming that the
What?
examples of gravity we're giving you are assumptions.
They are.
That's your
proved.
assumption. That's
Yeah.
your assumption.
It's
Where's your
Cavendish.
proof?
It's based on Cavendish. Do you know what Cavendish is?
It's a something you have with your lamb, is it, or is that mint?
Cavendish balls.
All right.
Why are you laughing?
Yeah. Why are you laughing?
Funny.
Yeah.
Funny. You guys.
First, the ancient Greeks
You
put a
have
bunch of
no
sticks in the
fucking
ground that
reason.
proved that it was a globe, and then Cavendish
guys-
came along,
you
brought
guys
his steel balls to
You
make
guys
more
believe in
proof
the
that it
Can
was
you
a
stop
globe.
talking all over Arwin? I asked you. No one answered. You all chuckled. Now Armin's telling you you're talking over him.
Oh, what's he talking? I'm sorry. What was that?
He
Alan?
was explaining Cavendish to you, you dicks. Yeah, sticks in the ground prove you're on a sphere. Then Cavendish came along and gave you gravity.
Mm-hmm. So
That's it.
what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? Balls hanging from sheds and sticks in the ground is your scientific evidence.
Well,
It's not scientific evidence
you-
of anything. It's
Well, at least
preposterous. It's a sideshow circus. And you guys believe it because you're idiots. Yet you're telling us that we're making assumptions. No. Without any scientific backing
they
whatsoever, with a couple of
they used
sticks
the
and a
technology. They
presupposition,
had it-
you've decided,
Yeah.
while you talk all over me, that your world's a sphere. We haven't got any...
But they used balls in a shed because that's the technology they had at the time, is it not? They didn't have anything much else, did they?
And we have
You've
better
still got the
technology
same
now. That's why we're
gravitational
disproving
constant.
it.
You're within 1% of the gravitational constant that Cavendish got.
I don't know much about the Cavendish. You got me on that one. I can't speak of
That's
that.
the basis of your religion. It's the
Is it?
apparatus that tells you stick to a spinning sphere. It's the basis of the weight of everything in the solar system. This is... Why don't you know this?
Sticks prove R, and balls prove G.
Yeah, basically. You Muppets don't even know this.
I'm looking at the image on screen now, and it's helping.
You
my
Muppets
globally,
don't
kind of.
even know this, Dawn. Yeah? Yet you're here telling us that we're making presuppositions while we point out your religious faith and the apparatus it is based on sticks and balls.
Those wind turbines. They're
But
like,
shut up about wind turbines. We're at the crescendo of this, Dawn, where we point out the idiocy of your religious faith. Your faith in R. Your faith in G.
You believe... Go on.
That's it. You've got faith. Keep the faith, brothers, because that's all you've got. You don't have any scientific evidence for your presuppositional value of R.
We don't
and
have
you've got-
your scientific evidence.
I've just told you, we obviously observed this lighthouse on screen. It's there.
Where's the bottom of it?
Oh, you're going
Where's
to
the
talk all
beach?
over me? Oh, this is Alan's cue, isn't it? When I point out the fantasist's fantasy, that this lighthouse is there and we see it, but you dicks presuppose an R value that says it isn't there. Yeah? This little problem for you isn't going to go away. It's obviously and observably flat. We see it, we can triangulate to it, simple trig, straight lines, and we can measure the height of this lighthouse. In your
You've got to prove
world,
perception.
it's a slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena hologram that is obscured by a 160, 170 foot wall of Earth curve. So we cannot physically see it. It is not there. But in your fantasy ball world of sticks and shadows, it's obscured. So it's a fantasy hologram in your world of balls. Yeah? Nonsense. It's obviously flat because we see stuff. It's just as simple
And
as
I hang
that.
up-
No scientific hypothesis is required when I see something.
Yeah,
I
I
see a
hang 'em on my
table
Christmas
because
tree
it's
too,
there.
mate, once a
I
year.
see a lighthouse because it's there. And I can measure it in the same way they build stuff on the flat plane we dwell atop. That's as simple as that. This lighthouse exists. I can see it and I can measure it. No hypothesis required. When you come to an R value that you stick into the exact same measurements, we haven't presupposed anything when we take a straight line
Yes, you
to
have.
this and measure its angle. Yeah?
Yes,
to
you
give you
have.
its height.
You
Stop talking. We don't presuppose a damn thing. You take...
Yes, you do.
Well, Alan, what have we presupposed? We draw a straight line and measure
A
it.
deception. No, you presuppose a deception.
No,
You have no
I'm not
proof of
talking about deception. I'm talking about a photograph of a lighthouse.
I'm talking about how it's explained, and you're debunking my explanation of that explanation.
No, I'm saying that you have to have a presuppositional value of R. The problem comes when we look at the world and see that it's obviously and observably flat. We see things that are there. They're not holograms, but in your world with a presuppositional value of R that you have no scientific evidence for, it's not there. It's blocked by this imaginary wall of Earth curve.
Yep.
Well, that seems reasonable to me. Hallelujah, I'm a fantasist believer in R. Praise be to the denial of perspective.
I believe in deceptions.
Hey Nathan, a Christmas tree basically contains all the proof they need. The tree is basically a big stick and it has balls hanging in it.
Yeah,
so it's
they've got it
both
covered.
proof of R and G.
No, you're trying to chop down the tree by pausing the roots.
Look, up until about 10 minutes ago, you didn't even know that G had balls in sheds proving its worth. Or that...
Me?
Yeah. That's where you get... That's how you decide the mass of the sun. Balls in a shed is how you decide the mass of Earth and Mars. That all comes from Cavendish. So you know how heavy the sun is based on balls in a shed. It is pathetic.
Dell lives in a shed.
Do you know how they did it exactly?
Yeah, Dell's not proving the weight of Venus now, is he? Your balls in a shed, your pathetic excuse for science. Your pathetic excuse for science gives you the weight of Venus, though, doesn't it? How pathetic is your belief system that balls in a shed can tell you how much Mars weighs? Oh my God, you guys don't even know your own fantasy. Learn your religion better, boys. Learn your religion better. Because it's amusing that you ignorant idiots don't even know where your religion is based.
Yes, I do.
Oh, really? Up until 10 minutes ago, you didn't know where G came from. You didn't know that you could weigh Mars using balls hanging from a torsion. You didn't know that until I just told you. But you know all about your religion, don't you? You know all about your religion. You think R is provable.
Say things that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It does matter. You've got a religious belief in R. Now I'm beating you down. You think it doesn't matter. You're trying the Dawn tactic of it doesn't matter now we're beating the crap out of you with your presuppositions and your religious beliefs. Yeah, it does matter. You've got a religious belief and a presuppositional value of R. I don't have any presuppositions. None. You do. And we're smashing those beliefs daily. So when you ask why I do this, it's to humiliate religious believers, zealots like you.
You are full of assumptions.
No, I'm not. I don't have any assumptions. When I take a measurement to a lighthouse I see, I draw a straight line and measure it. Simple. That's the world we live in. When you take a line, you have to do an arc calculation. Why? Because the power of R compels you to make an arc calculation. And why are you making an arc calculation? Because you can't see it. Because there's a wall of Earth curve in the way. It's like the Emperor's new clothes, though. You can't see the wall. It's not blocking a damn thing. But you definitely need to do an arc calculation. Because you've got an assumed value of R, right?
Why all the photos from space fake?
Sorry, we've gone over this. We're coming full circle now. So in order for you to have trajectories going around a spherical Earth, you need an R value, which you have no scientific evidence for. How many times do we need to go around this circle?
Sorry, I missed the question. Can you say it again?
You don't have any scientific evidence of R?
No scientific evidence that would satisfy you.
No, science is a method that you would adhere to prove things, specifically cause and effect relationships. Yeah? So when you Muppets come on and say the Earth's curved and that's why it's obscuring things, you can establish that cause and effect with science, something that you guys claim to have behind you and have had for 2,000 years while you've asserted this nonsense about balls, using balls to prove balls.
You done?
Are you not ashamed, though?
Who, me?
All of you. That you have no proof, that you believe in something that somebody tried to prove 500 years ago. Are you not ashamed? Are you not ashamed? Honestly, are you not ashamed with the proponents? You don't have any evidence for anything. You should be hanging your head in shame.
You believe in lumberjacks.
I really got no words for that, you know.
Well, you should be.
Right. So, how do you stop people like Nathan and myself saying that what you believe in isn't a religion? How do you stop that? How do you prevent a religion, something that is a religious belief, and make it into a fact?
It's evidence based.
Well, Spurs, to me, when you say it's a religious belief, to me that's just you saying that. Doesn't mean anything.
How can we prevent that? And how can you prevent that idea of us thinking?
I can't prevent it.
Of course you can. Of course you
I'm
can.
a realist, mate. I know I can't prevent it.
You can. You can
how
provide
do you
scientific evidence. So how many times have I got to say? Science proves things. You can prove it with scientific evidence. You can establish a cause and effect relationship. Science is supposed to back you. So go and get some science.
You can take photos of obstruction. That works.
You're already putting it sweeping under the rug when there's enough photographic evidence to show you at least.
It's flat.
Not scientific evidence.
So what?
So, well, that's why I'm saying you guys assert that you've got science backing your religion, and yet you've got an assumed value of R. It presupposes all of the distances to the sun, for example. Yeah?
Seriously.
It starts with an assumed value when you measure those distances to space, where you claim you're taking pictures from. So if you have an assumed value that creates that world, yeah, the distant stars are based on presupposing you're on a sphere when you measure them. The value they presuppose it with is R.
All right, let me just try a different way with you, was. Let's say, for example, people believe in God. It's a religion, it's a faith. How would you change that religious idea of a God into a fact? What would be necessary? What would you require to stop the religions being a religion and God being a fact?
You can't change it. You can't.
But even if God was presented to you, you're saying it still wouldn't be a fact.
Oh, if God was presented to me.
That's what I'm asking you. How do you go from religion to fact? Yes?
Yes.
Right. I'm asking you, how do you go from, we're saying that you have a religious belief. Your heliocentric model is the religion. You worship the sun. You believe in things that you haven't seen. You worship things that you will never see, like gravity. So how do you turn this religious idea into actual facts?
You can't.
So you can validate it scientifically.
It's only a religious idea because you said it was.
No,
but how do you make the religious idea?
Everyone else already considers it as fact.
You've got a belief in R. You've got a belief in G. You've got a belief in a spinning sphere Earth. You've got a belief in all these things because they're not proven. And if you go again and say, I've got a photograph, it's like you can believe in images you see on the TV. King Kong, therefore, is real, right? Godzilla's therefore real. You've seen an image on TV, right? You've not experienced that for yourself and you never will. You resign yourself to the fact that you'll never see it as an acceptable justification when someone shows you a photograph. But the reality is, the reason you've got space, distant planets, is because they presupposed a value of R. That's where it all began. It's as simple as that. So when I ask for scientific evidence of the presupposition, that's where it all begins. But you've got nothing to offer. You just go back in that little circle and say, the powers that be provided me a photograph. They've told me I can't go there. That's too difficult or expensive, but I'll believe them because you have a religious belief. Consult your priests. In R we trust. And with that, I would say first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully for sharing this debate. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, then I'm sure you know what to do. But if you liked the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you have not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!